Hi, so what I want to ask the question is, why do we run when someone gets too close? So what I'm pointing to is, have you ever actually noticed yourself feeling anxious around something or an experience, or suddenly wanting to avoid that experience or those people? And anxiety can show up in many different ways for many of us. It can sit quietly in the background most of our lives, and sometimes it's barely noticeable until something triggers it. And what do we often do? We then avoid it. We move away from the situation or the experience or the person that is creating that uncomfortable feeling. Maybe you recognise this in relationships. This is where it's very common. You meet someone and things are going really well, and you know there's a connection and you're really enjoying each other's company, and then suddenly they start talking about something a bit more serious, maybe a longer term relationship or something a bit more committal, and then boom, there it is, that feeling of anxiety that you point to that arises. Perhaps something from the past actually gets triggered, and it could be that you've experienced hurt before, even rejection or abandonment, or a relationship that didn't really end well. Whatever reason, suddenly you begin to feel overwhelmed. You get hijacked by the mind. So what you do is you start to pull away. We stop answering the phone, messages go unanswered, or our replies become short and distant. And we tell ourselves that we're just not interested anymore. That voice tells us that. And that's what creates safety for us, because underneath all of it, something else may be happening. We can be unconsciously protecting ourselves from an experience of an old feeling that we've had before. And without even realizing it, we may be walking away from what could be an amazing relationship, friendship, or even opportunity. And for some people, this pattern plays out again and again and again for decades. And it can be exhausting when you suddenly realize it's there. It can actually leave us wondering, why am I still single? And the problem isn't necessarily that there's anything wrong with us, because there isn't. It may be simply that we're not recognizing the pattern yet. So think about an air conditioning unit that's running constantly in a room, and after a while you get so used to the sound that you barely notice it. But if it's switched off, suddenly you realize how noisy it is. And that's how anxiety can be. The first step isn't necessarily just to change everything. The first step is to become aware of it, to begin noticing when anxiety appears, to notice when you want to run, avoid, or shut down, or just push someone away, or get away from an experience. And once you become aware of that pattern, you can begin to explore why it's happening. And more importantly, you will begin to feel differently. But you can't do this on your own. That's one thing I have learnt. So if any of this sounds familiar and you're starting to recognise in what I've described, just put me in the comments and I'll send you a free video that can help you begin that process. So just comment me and I'll send you a free video. So I want to thank you very much for listening, and I hope that helps, and maybe we'll talk in the future. Have a great day.